Ooh.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Chris Baker.
And I'm Ty Backer.
Welcome to episode 157 of Behind the Toolbelt TC Backer Construction.
TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. TC Backer.
Behind the Toolbelt is sponsored by Lead Scout. Find out more at leadscoutapp.com.
TC Backer.
Boom. TC Backer family. First of all, we're going to start off. John Boy, you killed this background, bro.
We did.
This shit is hot. We got a special holiday edition today, man. We got our boy David Bruno in the house.
Yep.
Good to see you guys.
Mr. LocaliQ, Mr. USA Today,
Yeah, all the
Mr.
good stuff.
California porn star.
That's right. he took the words right out of my mouth.
I know,
That's
man,
a
I
good
know.
start. That is a good
It
start.
was a
Right?
good start. It's a good start. So, David, you've been on here. This got to be your sixth time on our show. But if my memory serves me correctly, this has got to be your third and not final season, but like our final season for each year's end, right? Because I'm pretty sure last year between Christmas and New Year's, you were on the year before that.
Yes.
And it's not even necessarily anything. I don't think we tried. Now, this year we are a little more intentional about it.
Yeah.
And you're definitely one of my favorite guests. We always have a blast. We always have great conversation, usually over branding and marketing, which is one of my favorite topics. Still don't know much about it or enough about it, but it's still,
Right.
I'm still very interested in like finding that secret ingredient, which, I'll continue to keep searching for that and having people like you around me to help me do those things and find that silver bullet, that silver lining, which there isn't one, but I'm going to continue to search for it or create one or make one and develop one and all that good stuff. But, the conversations that we have and to wrap up the year. So we're at 3 years, 1 week into this podcast that started out just in some dude's basement. Shane DeGarry, big shout out to him.
Yeah.
The OG of even back then he was talking about TikTok before we even knew what it was.
Yeah.
Going live, like he really helped get us where we're at today. So big shout out to him.
I like what you're talking about here just a little while ago. Every time I come in here, from seeing you guys at the trade shows, at these conventions, every time I come in here, just seeing the way this thing continues to evolve and expand. You're adding technology, you're adding cameras, you're adding lights and sound and video equipment and backgrounds. It's just from when I first joined you guys on here to now, it's just like it's fun every single time.
Yeah.
It's just saying what you guys are putting into this thing.
Damn it.
We ain't even close to finish either.
No,
man.
I know.
No,
Honestly,
we're just getting started.
we're
And
just
that's
starting
what's
to get
cool.
momentum with this thing.
We're always feeling like we're just getting started. And Vic made a good point today. I was like, damn it, we really need to start being a little more intentional and more proactive on like sharing photos from like through the year. But not just that, but like find those archived photos of like when we used like one iPhone 10 was our camera, right? And then we stepped up our game to like a little Canon Rebel thing that I still have.
Mhm.
And then we ended up getting like one Black Magic camera, which is probably one of these. And then
I don't even know. I'm glad you can keep track of this mess, bro, because
but like
it's been
how
crazy.
things evolved, and it's become one of our obsessions, a part-time obsession for
Mhm.
us, and how we like it. And it's not really a marketing stunt for anything,
No.
or we really have enjoyed this. And I think one of the things when we finally got to that point where it's like people started to reach out to us and wanted to come on the show, that's when it really started to get like fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I was still a little nervous up until that point.
Mhm.
And even when we started to get like some heavy hitters
Yeah.
on
Right.
guest on the show, it
Yeah.
was.
Do you remember when we got our very first one? We were so giddy and like high-fiving each other. We're like, dude, this guy wants to come on our fucking show. What?
Yeah.
What? Our show?
I know.
Like, does he know that we don't know what we're doing?
Yeah. Right.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And maybe he did, maybe didn't, maybe he didn't care.
Yeah.
Because it was, and it's still new to us. Think
Yeah,
about
for
it.
sure, man.
So 157 times we did this, but much more in between that we
Right.
did.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
You
much
count
more
home shows and all that kind of stuff.
if you
on
count
little
all that
special
stuff
shows.
and everything that goes into this. And I think a lot of guys or gals, everybody wants to do a podcast nowadays, right?
Mhm.
And I think it sounds really cool and it looks really easy, right? But
It's a lot of hard work.
it
man.
is
Not easy.
No,
This
it's
is
not,
not
easy,
easy at all.
and it's not cheap. I mean, yes, you can do it cheap and have
can.
great
Right.
audio,
Absolutely.
video. I mean, all you really need is this, especially nowadays. There's this camera and this phone. I just got a 14 for Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and this is probably just as good as what we're using here. I mean, really, it can, and it's auto adjustable. Like you don't have to
Right.
necessarily worry about anything other than audio. You know what I mean? So you don't have to spend the kind of money that we've spent on this.
How important is the audio though?
It's more important than video.
It's the most
considering the fact that
important.
we just lost video. So hopefully you guys can still
Oh, they
hear us.
can. It's the stream to the
Right.
TV back there.
But audio, what we've learned is probably one of the most important things when it comes to podcast. Is
Mhm.
more important than the video itself, because that's what's super annoying. Like when someone's voice is breaking up or
Yes.
real choppy, or they freeze and all that stuff, people will tend to kind of move on if that's the case. But anyhow, not to, there's a lot of things that we want to discuss tonight for our viewers coming to year's end. But then I also want to talk about some of our successes and probably failures too, personally, for us,
Mhm.
but I guess more importantly, the aspects of branding, marketing, branding versus marketing, the difference between the two. We always talk about this, and our conversations always evolved into such a great conversation. It's not the same
Yeah.
every time we talk
It's
about
really not.
this.
No, it's really not.
And I can't get enough of it.
And
So hopefully our
honestly,
viewers
Ty,
can't get
I
enough
think
of
a
it.
lot of that has to do with, number one, neither one of us are, experts in the marketing field. Okay?
Right.
But through the years and having the heavy hitters we've had on here, having the conversations we've had from not only different companies, but different territories. You know what I mean? We've heard the storm chaser marketers.
Yes.
We've heard the people that do just the regular door to door. We've heard the people that, just run an organic retail model. We've heard from people on here that have service people that do a new construction model and like a blend like we do.
Yes.
So, we paid attention.
Mhm.
So I feel like as we bring him on, we progress over time. We get, we've educated ourselves on
Yes.
this. So
Yeah.
now next time he comes on, I now have new questions that I want to
Mhm.
ask him that other people have answered. And I want to see how it applies to him
Yes.
and his market and
Yes.
his techniques. You know what I mean?
For sure. For sure.
One of the things that I've been thinking about here recently is that one of the things I enjoy about marketing, and I think you mention it all the time, is it's never an exact science.
Right.
Mhm.
You try a lot of things that you've seen some success in different
Mhm.
areas, but it's always interesting to see how things are going to continue to work. And what makes it really interesting is the way the market continues to change.
Yes.
Every time the market's changing, using these techniques and coming up with things to stay ahead of it are going to be, more and more critical. As we
Yeah, and
go.
that's a very important aspect that you bring up too, because what may have worked 3 months ago or 6 months ago or even a year ago may not work today.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Things change, atmospheres change, people's wants change. You know what I mean? Based upon the seasons. Let's talk about seasons, right? So, like during the spring, summer, fall, we're talking about roofing, right? But then when the colder months start to approach, like you might want to switch up to windows, gutters, gutter guards in the fall time. You know what I mean? So that type of marketing that you would, focus, like your clientele, who are you focusing on? So that might change. Are you trying to cover their pain points? Are you trying to be sympathetic? You know what I mean? Like, we understand. You know what I mean? Like, what approach are you taking? And then not to be afraid to step outside the box and do something that nobody else is doing, because a lot of people, if you look at marketing, a lot of people, and not that it's not successful, are all doing the same thing. Right. And what I've found to be the best, and I always resort back to billboards, right? I use this analogy as like you're going 80 miles an hour down the highway. You need to make your name big, what you do big, and your phone number big.
Right.
So if you use that analogy towards life, everyone's moving 100 miles an hour, right? They don't have the time to burn those calories of reading all of this crap, whether it be in a newspaper, whether it be on a Facebook page, whether it be whatever it is, right? Like, people don't have time, nor does their attention span have the time to sit there and read all this horse crap. Say what it is that you can do for them, right? Who you are and what is the easiest way that they can contact you. And that's just one bullet that I've found has worked. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that. And one of the things too is just, as you said, you're trying to capture people's attention right away and quickly like that. And one of the things that people are really interested in seeing is images. So when you're showing images of your team, whether it's, a group picture, whether it's your team at a trade show or something like that, if you show some of the crews, actually on a job site,
right?
You show Chris out there directing traffic to the crew or whatnot, things like that. That is, I think, a quick way to gain attention. Like, I was talking today, and I have been for the last couple of months too, because I used to be, I mentioned to you, I used to be like a box sales guy. So I used to sell corrugated boxes.
Yes.
And so I've been talking to a company, and what they do in their ads, they have yet to do anything with me, but what they do is just pretty much talk about, hey, this is what we do. And I'm saying, I think if you put some images in there of your crews, your team, people utilizing the boxes that you're supplying them, I think that's a great way of doing it.
Yeah.
There's data that backs that up, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look at some of our most successful videos, Ty, and I mean, we got a lot of videos that have our construction page attached to them.
Yeah.
The one that we did, the tear off, we ended that day with like 10,000 views on that video.
That was crazy.
At that point in
and
time,
the algorithms.
Yes.
Go ahead. Keep saying what you're going to say.
At that point in time, that was a lot. And then we did another one right after that. Remember, I hopped on a new construction roof at like 7:30 in the morning and went live for like 20 minutes. And I had over 100 people in there watching me at one time. And I'm like,
it's crazy.
Ain't y'all working? Why is everyone watching me right now? But it was like, it was honestly, you got to think about it, man. Like, how I work, when I'm scrolling through, if I see something, I'm like, what the hell are they doing?
Yes.
And you click on it.
Yes.
And it's just something that simple,
Yes. Okay. So to elaborate on two different things that you just said there. So back when we had those 10,000 views, like within an hour, right? So what worked then won't work now.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Because of the times, the algorithms on Facebook was a lot different.
Right.
Okay. Right. Something's changed, whether it be you can't host watch parties anymore, whatever has changed. Like it's a lot harder to earn those viewers, those views. Right. The other thing is that you had mentioned was the time of day. Right.
Yes.
So the second time that you did it, you had 100 people watching you. So a lot of times, and that can be even hit or miss too, because I have intentionally tried to post things at different times of day just to see what has gotten more traction than other times a day. Right. And it does, like weekends, you would think people would smash it on weekends. From my experience, and I've tried all different times a day. I thought maybe it was too early in the morning on Sunday morning or Saturday morning. It was too late in the morning and too late in the day. For whatever reason, I don't know why or what it is about weekends. For me, from my experience, and I could be wrong, there could be data that shows something different from just my experience. when I post things on weekends, don't get as much traction as something through the week at like 8 a.m. Monday morning, right? Like 8 and like 11-ish for me has gotten the most traction, more views, more likes, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've started to do as well, and I think it's worked well, is I try and do a lot of business related posts. But then I do some when I'm on vacation too. I'll just say, I'll mention in there and say, hey, here I am at a different location or in front of my folks' house or in front of the tree or something. Just do something short. And I think that keeps engagement up.
Right.
Because then people get to see other things that you do.
Yeah.
And, somebody told me that. They said, if you mix up some of your business posts with some of your personal things and just let people see who you are.
Yeah, for sure.
That goes a long way versus just inundating people with,
yes,
absolutely,
this is what we do, and just trying to peddle my stuff all the time and give no insight as to really who I am or what I'm about.
Yeah.
Other than that. So I try and do that. And usually the goofiest stuff that I post, it's not to say that people are not seeing the other things I'm posting, but what they're responding to.
Their interactions.
The interactions are on.
And interactions feed the algorithms.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So
So the main goal, like, you don't want to post nothing but silly videos to get interactions, but at the same time, like, you want to make sure that there's a nice blend that gets the interactions, gets a comment, gets a like, gets a share or whatever. Yeah. But a big thing that I want to touch on, Ty, that, where you've devolved as a marketing person, you said one of the key things on marketing, man, you pay attention to what you're doing. You know what I mean? So, like you said, I've posted at different times of the day and, like, I've watched to see what happened and then learn from that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then
for sure,
that's a marketing thing right there, man. That's trying something, keeping track of the data,
right,
and pinpointing what worked about that, finding the pattern and enacting on it.
For sure.
That's marketing in a nutshell right there.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. And like, I've become obsessed with these types of things in data. You know what I mean? Like, I like to see data.
Right.
Like, now there's a lot of things that you can't claim a matrix on, like billboards. Like, that's just like one of those blind faith things. Like, all I know is I walk in the room and I hit the light switch and the lights come on. I don't know why. I don't care why. I don't even think about it. I just know it's going to happen. Same thing with the billboard. It's called like blind faith, right? You just put them up.
Yeah.
Right. Now there are things, and somebody was mentioning something. I can't remember what they said. But it was over the weekend. I was on a live video with Michael Stern. Somebody in the comments, I'll have to go back and look at it. But like, the QR code, 80 mile an hour, it's going to be kind of tough. They might wreck their car, try to get it. You can use tracking numbers, but we've chalked it up to like, okay, it's a brand awareness.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Dominating that awareness that if and when they need a roof, they should automatically already know that we've become a household name. And when you think of roofing in our area, they should think of us.
Right.
And that's why I say that all this advertising works to a degree. It's just a matter of where and when.
Right.
And so the billboards, whether somebody makes a call off of that or not, it's not to say that they're not seeing it. It's not in the back of their mind. But so when it comes up, I saw that billboard along Route 30 or wherever the case it is. Saw it down by the airport. And then you go online and there you go. TC Backer.
Yes.
And everything falls into play. Yeah. Or they see the ad in the paper and they say, well, I've seen these guys about 10 other places.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's about time to give them a call and see what we have going on, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it all plays together, and it's that's the fun part about it.
I think one of my biggest obsessions was when I found out about touch points.
Yes. And that's evolved. I remember our very first episode that he was on, he talked about that. And I want to say that they've almost doubled since we first came on. I think when you first came on, it was like 7 to 10 touch points before you actually get a contact from a potential customer.
Right.
And now that's up to what? 13 to 16 touch points?
Give us the
13 to
real
16 now.
deal. Give us the real deal about this.
It's 13 to 16 now.
And
and
you know something that you're not telling us. Like,
tell us. And it keeps going. And the reason being is just because of these handheld devices.
Is it really 22?
No, I wouldn't say it's that many.
Okay.
We're still 13 to 16. But like I said, just last year, it was between 10 and 12.
Okay.
But that's because of the phone. I mean, it used to just be traditional media, newspaper, TV, radio, yellow pages.
Why do you think it would be more, not less? Because of this?
Because of the phone. Because people have...
Because of this, why wouldn't it be less?
because there are so many different spots on here, so many different means. You've mentioned just a couple of them. You've got Facebook, you've got TikTok, you got LinkedIn, you've got all these apps on here. And the idea is to consolidate and be able to say, okay, well, which of these, where are people going to see us? You know, and that's like I mentioned, I've seen you on the rare occasion that I will open up a game app, you know, at certain times or whatnot, because you know I'm busy. I don't have time for that.
I see what you want to talk about.
But if I do, but if I do,
you mean a porn site?
I see.
I see.
Because
I
we've
see where
mastered
this is
that
going now.
since our last time that David's been on here. Just since
You had to
David,
go
yeah,
there.
David opened
There,
up.
Bob.
David, so since the last time David's been on here, we have mastered how to get our ads to run on porn sites.
Yeah.
And hence where roof porn came from. So if anybody's not
Some dirty marketing tactics.
a
right there,
member
no pun
of
intended.
roofporn.com, go onto your Facebook page, search roof porn, and go ahead and invite yourself.
Roof porn stars right here. 3 of
That's
them.
right. That,
The fun.
yeah, about a year ago. What the roof porn star was born?
Uh-huh.
David
Yeah,
Bruno.
we did your
Yeah,
neighbor.
that's where you're asking. You're like, well, the real question is, how do I get on?
Well, we
show
figured
up
it
on
out.
these?
Thank you for the input that you've given us because sex sells, right? Let's not kid ourselves here. Right? We get more phone calls. So anybody out there listening, our secret magic silver bullet has been porn sites. We run our ads on porn sites. You want to be as successful as we are? I'm not going to tell you how we did it. Figure it out on your own. But I'm just telling you, the phone rings 100 times a day. So,
boy.
Yes,
anyhow, I wasn't going to dig. Let me finish this, and then I'll really start digging in your butt here a little bit on some porn stuff. So, but anyhow, algorithms, marketing, branding, all that good stuff. Like I'm so obsessed on like what we can do to move into areas because we're in growth mode. We have been forever.
And that's one of the things I was going to say is that what I've been noticing is that I kind of break the folks that I work with, that I come across, people that call me, people who I work with, some of them who I'm not working with, but they're in like 3 categories really. There's the the comfort zone, and that's where an advertiser or a business will like to invest very little, but have expectations of tremendous results and a truckload of calls. And a lot of time I'm just telling them, it's not going to, the budget that we have is not going to really allow for that.
Yeah.
And then there's the success zone, and that's more the sweet spot. That's kind of in the middle where the results are going to kind of match the budget that's out there. You're going to get enough to keep some phone ringing, to pay some bills and that sort of thing. Yeah. And then there's where you are because you're involved with myself. You're involved with numerous other folks as well, covering about every avenue you can because you recognize that, hey, the proper advertising and marketing we're going to do is going to allow us to open up new markets, going to add us to add people here, get more salespeople out there, add trucks, keep updated with all the logos and branding and all that. So you're in the ability zone, and that's where the budget that you're putting into this and the time and energy you put into marketing and working with resources is going to contribute to growth, expansion, and all that. Yeah. And so those are the types of people that I'm trying to jump on board with versus the first crew there who wants to
the comfort
spend, the comfort who wants to spend very little, but have have the expectation that
I think a lot of that has to go into blind faith. It's like it's tough because it's an expense, and when you first start out, it's kind of like it's word of mouth, it's referrals, and it's very uncomfortable to spend that money on something that you don't see right away either. Right. And it's very easy to give up in like 3-6 months, even 12 months sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how long does it take? Like if I build a website today and I wanted to start a business and I put it on Google, how long would it take before it would start popping up if somebody searched dry cleaning, TCB dry cleaning? Like how long would it take for that to actually get ranked up on the first page? Like how long does that normally take?
Well, again, that's going to vary, and again, it's based on the budget you put in there, so you can compete on keywords and searches, and depends on how common the phrases are, and so you're going to have to build up some traction in there and, get the Google ranking and get in there with the algorithms and develop your SEO and so forth. So that way.
So is it just about the money?
Not necessarily. That's a part of it, but it's also the content. So it's the content that's going to be on the site, and it's going to be not only what you're doing online, but to your point as well, in some of these other areas, taking a look at billboards and doing some of the other things you're doing to drive traffic to the website. Because once you get people to the website, the more you're able to drive there organically, it's going to continue to grow, and then it's going to. And then all the paid stuff that you're putting into it.
So that takes time.
It does. It's not going to be. So
it's not going to take 3 weeks, 3 months. No. It's going to take a minute.
It's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
It's kind of, and it's always kind of a work in progress.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is, and Glenn and I just had this conversation the other day is like, we do a lot of repair and service calls and stuff like that. And it's like a lot of people turn away and shy away from that stuff. But like over time of taking care of those smaller jobs, right? These homeowners that are in need because nobody either answers the phone, they don't show up, or it's not like a full roof replacement, right? So over time, and let's just say, 12 months of doing about 80 repairs. Another 12 months goes by. Now you're doing 160 repairs, and then another 12 months. So now 36 months has passed. And in that 36th month, you've done, 200 in that 12 months. So now you're at, 360 plus 80. So it'd be 440. So you've done 440 repair jobs. Think about what that has done. Like, need I say any more of like that foundation? And that to me is branding.
Absolutely.
Right. So like now we have, or you or whoever has 440 people whispering, TC Backer. They came out, they did a great job. They took care of me. They're here right away. You know what I mean? So you got to take care of it. It's like those $250 to $1,200 to $2,500 repair jobs are worth its weight in gold. And then the satisfaction that the homeowner receives from you coming out there and just taking the time to do those repairs. And a lot of times you don't make a lot of money on them.
Right.
You really don't. You're just really helping people out. But what that has done is it's created a rapport, a relationship with, if they need something that might be bigger later on down the road, or their aunt, their uncle, their neighbors, that's who do you think screaming your name, your brand? That is your brand. It's much more than the billboard, and it's much more than the t-shirt. You know what I mean? Yeah. That yes, branding, but the brand comes from those 10,000 people. Yes, we're screaming at 10,000 people right now. Okay.
Yeah,
but is there 5,000 cheering you on?
Yeah, there's nothing that's going to compete really with with that word of mouth that you're talking about. That is the ultimate. That's the ultimate in what you're trying to do. Yeah. And even like on Facebook and all these other things, when you try and get the online reviews, because I know that reviews, it doesn't matter really what you're buying or what service you're looking at, whether it's roofing or you're looking at a new car. I mean, people are looking at those reviews, and that's like the online word of mouth.
Yes, that too.
Yeah. That's so anytime that you can get, like when you're going out there and you complete a job, and if you're, I suspect you're probably trying to get people to go on there and write up a nice review for you.
You know what? We don't ask for reviews.
Yeah.
And very rarely do we. We're not those guys. Like for the longest time, I felt some kind of way for begging for reviews. Like that's just kind of how I felt about it. Now, our team has changed and it's evolved, and they've kind of convinced me, reviews is a big thing, and it is. So there's nothing wrong if we've done and provided a great service for somebody. It's not bad or unethical. I guess I've learned, and have accepted that it's not unethical to ask for a review. Hence why, if you do go onto our website, we don't have, like, I've gone on to people's things, dude, half that shit can't be real.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, how do you have like 3,500 reviews? You've been in business 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like I think that for me, I feel like there's a fine line of too many reviews and not having enough. I guess there's that, to have those actual, true, real reviews. And I can guarantee you one thing, that now I'm going to say there may be some fake reviews on there, and it would probably be negative. There and there's been a couple on there that I've like, who are these people?
Yeah.
And we've tried to contact and reach them through Google, like, I'm sorry, you're not in our system, but can we make this right? And of course, no response.
Right.
Well, those are the things too. I mean, those reviews online, you can at least go on there and put a response to them on there. Say,
And we do.
and that's it. And that's it. And that's the big thing is a lot of people, they don't pay attention to them and they don't respond to them.
Yeah.
And responding to them and showing that, hey, I've seen this
Yeah.
negative review. What can we do to make this right? Or
Mhm.
what may have happened? And that goes a long way as well, because things aren't going to be perfect. Not
Yeah.
every job
No.
is going to go exactly the way you want it
Mhm.
in the time frame you want it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you
No,
Especially in
step up.
exterior trades,
We've
man.
recently
Shit happens.
started asking for reviews. I
Yeah.
mean, if we've done a good job and I think in exchange a good review, I mean, because let's face it, at the end of the day, a lot of people look at reviews
Yeah, for sure,
and
man.
that's how they judge if they're going to call you or not. And this is how we feed our families. And it's like, and that's what people need to keep in mind too when you're going to give someone a review, whether it be a good review or a bad review.
Mhm.
Know that you're either going to have a negative impact on not just them, but their coworkers and their coworkers' families.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So be careful and be mindful.
Mhm.
And
Right.
that's-
And then on the other hand, it's like, yes, give a good review,
Mhm.
because this is how we feed our families.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's become an Amazon e-commerce world.
Yeah, I
We're-
want it, and I want it now.
Yes.
I don't want to wait for it. And to touch on your point, Ty, I agree that I think it's I think it's, I don't want to say unethical, but I don't think that it's quite fair to demand of your customer to go on and leave me a good review.
Mhm.
Okay.
No.
But there is nothing wrong with you going to your customer when your job is done or your service is completed that they paid for and say,
Yes.
look,
Right.
in this age, business runs on reviews.
Yeah.
Would you leave me an honest review?
Yeah. And if you
Because
feel as though we've
if,
done a
if
good
there's
job here,
something that I can correct,
Yeah.
I want to correct it. I
course.
need to be able to coach my team,
Mhm.
and this is how I coach my team. I'm either going to commend them or we're going to have a
Mhm.
coaching moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I don't think that there is anything wrong with
No,
that
absolutely
at
not.
all.
I
Leave
don't
me an
either.
honest review.
yeah. And if you say,
Yeah.
hey, if you feel as though we've done a good job here, if you wouldn't
Absolutely.
mind just taking
Absolutely.
taking a minute out of your time to go on there
Absolutely.
and,
And 9 times out of 10, people are like,
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Listen, yeah, I mean, it is.
But that's the thing. Without asking them, though, without bringing it up in
Right.
some way, shape, or
Right.
form, I think people will take it on their own self
Mm-hmm.
to go slam your business if
Mhm,
there's
for
something
sure.
that they don't
Way
like.
before they're going to
However,
do something nice.
Yeah.
And if you don't ask them, even if they do feel like, hey, these guys have done a great job,
Mhm.
without asking or without a little prompting, they're less likely to go on there and take that moment to do that. But they will go on there with no prodding
Yeah.
to put a negative comment on.
I
it,
agree
for
with
sure.
you. I agree with you because I don't think about, like, if I leave a great restaurant and I'm thinking, man, that was good. Unfortunately, the furthest thing from my mind is
Yeah,
like
I'm
to
the same
leave
way, man.
to leave a good review. So it is a good point. And I'm glad we're having this conversation because I'll be honest with you, I still wasn't 100% sold on begging for reviews. And that's
Mhm.
how I look at it.
Yeah.
You're begging. I mean, not that you're begging, but I feel like you shouldn't have to ask for a review.
Right.
If you did a great
Yeah.
goddamn job and you blew their socks off,
Yeah.
then wouldn't they leave?
But you just told yourself.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, some people just don't think about
And
that.
maybe, and I'm going to be real honest here, maybe I'm just envious of those guys that do have 3,500 reviews
Yeah.
with a 4.7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's tough.
yeah,
This is a great transition point, guys. We are going to cut to our little commercial that we introduced last week for Hook Agency. Please take this time to share.
yeah.
Watch the commercial. Go on Hook Agency's site and give them some love.
Yeah, we're going to run that ad. Let's do it.
Roofers, you want at least 5 solid lead gen tactics building chemistry. Let's say you have door knocking, referral systems, job site branding, and you add in aggressive SEO, paid ads, and boom! Smells like more leads. HookAgency.com.
We've done a good job here for you.
Oh, and we're back.
I'm back.
Hook Agency is a Google specialized marketing team that only works with contractors offering SEO, Google Ad, Management Plus, and website design.
Yeah. So I think this is a great transition here, guys. We just had some really good marketing talk.
We did.
Let's
yeah, we did.
transition right into some. Let's reflect on the year, man. Let's
Yeah.
reflect on on the year. I really like the direction
Wait a
that
minute.
you were saying.
Yes. So before we go into that, I want to talk about being relevant continuously being relevant and not becoming obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
With marketing and things like that. So this will kind of
absolutely
segue right into this.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what would you suggest? Like what worked last year that's not going to probably work this year that if someone like us wanted to stay relevant, knowing what you know, what should we do?
Well,
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it is. And to stay relevant, it's just a matter of staying on top of the trends. Seeing like one of the first things I'm doing, and one of the things I've been doing this week is I'm just going to various industries and I'm just looking at the top 10 challenges for the upcoming year. And then I'm looking to say, okay, how can I impact that? What do my conversations like with Ty and Chris here look like with regards to some of these challenges that you may or may not be aware of? How can I impact that? And how can I work with some of the other marketing avenues that you have in place to kind of work in conjunction to make sure that we can help you best address those things and stay in the position where you are? Not only stay in the position, but to continue moving ahead in the position. So that's the main thing.
So you educating yourself and surrounding yourself around other avenues is what you would do for us. But if you were a contractor, okay, put yourself in our shoes. The trends of last year, what are the trends this year you feel like that we should be really engulfing ourselves in? What's something that we're missing out on or that we should take advantage of?
Right at this point, I think the direction you're going in recognizing and realizing that there are more and more places that you need to be seen on an annual basis. Just it seems like those 4 initial marketing avenues that we talked about to start out with, that held true for numerous years. But now, because of technology changes, because of where people are moving from more into rural areas and different spots geographically and areas you're trying to cover, just realizing and acknowledging we need to be present in all of these places, not just some of them. We need to be as many places where these folks are going to be. And just really understanding where those movements are, that's the key thing. And then you put the tools in place around it, but really just understanding that. Where are the people? Where are the homes going up? Where are people moving to? Why are they moving from where they are? What sort of homes are they in? What can we do there?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And then once you recognize that, then you can then we're able to utilize the tools
and dial that in.
And dial that in.
Okay.
Based on that information. Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good enough. I'll let you off the hook on that. Good enough. I was hoping for another magic that God damn it, give it to me.
I didn't know that. I didn't even think of that.
It's
one of them things, right?
Give it to me, damn it. I'm already doing all that shit already. Like, tell me something good. No, listen, that was all seriously. That to remain relevant, you have to remain relevant.
Yes.
Right. And outside the box thinking, and don't be afraid to take chances and risk. I got one more question. I'm sorry. Can you overmarket yourself?
Overmarket? You absolutely can.
Okay. Give me some examples and keep going. Keep going.
There are some people, like when you do paid marketing and paid advertising, especially with like email campaigns and so forth, people want to they say, hey, I want to follow up on an email. I want to follow up with these people 4 or 5 times a week. And I want to be seen, multiple times per day. To me, I think that's overwhelming.
Yeah, you're going to make someone angry.
Myself as a consumer, if I'm seeing, like if I was to see TC Backer, your little ad come up there, if I was to see that display ad pop up every single time I opened the sports page or opened up a weather app or opened up anything, and that's all I see, that starts to become a little bit of overload.
Okay.
So that's why I recommend to people, hey, you just want to follow up with people and put a display ad in there. Somebody who visits your site or whatnot, maybe get in front of them, maybe twice a week, 6 times a month, and just do it. Okay. In stages. Yeah. So you can overmarket yourself.
Especially on the email thing.
The second part to this question is, okay. And I've had this thought before, and so when you overmarket, let's say, and I'm going to use like too many billboards, or let's say our home show display that we have. You've seen what we do at home shows. Like we go all in. And the thing is that I think a lot of people don't understand is that we are a construction company. So everything we've built in-house. So it looks like, oh my God, they must be spending tons of money. And we haven't. Like maybe the first year that we did it, we did. You know what I'm saying? But now it's just kind of like putting all the parts and pieces together, and the team shows up. We all do it together, and it goes right up, right? And we're not afraid to put the work in. So that's the thing. They don't think about the hours that it took to get, it was sweat equity.
Yeah.
Is what goes into those things. So do you think that's likely to turn somebody off? Like, oh, they're going to be too expensive because I see all those fancy billboards and their home show displays and things like that. Do you think?
I think that's like an old school thought. I think that's a thought that people may have had years back. Like I always thought that it would matter the type of car that I pulled into somebody, a customer's driveway with or something like that. They might be thinking, man, this guy's going to make a mint off of me here. When in reality, now I believe that people just recognize maybe the person's just successful. Maybe they're just good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it can be possible to do this without taking advantage of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's more, I think now with the technology and people being able to see kind of more into the things that you have going on behind the scenes, I think that's more the perception now. So I don't think that's as prevalent as it used to be. I think years ago when people couldn't see what you were doing behind the scenes, people would think, oh man, they must be like way overcharging me to do this.
Yeah.
And that kind of piggybacks off of where the world has evolved to technology wise. I mean, you used to be like, you wouldn't see that person anywhere other than if they came to provide a service for you. You know what I mean? So, but now it's like, by the time you do businesses with someone, you can really get to know that business or that brand through social media, social commerce.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, that may play into that same thing, correct?
Yeah. Not that I've ever worried about that, but those thoughts go through. Like those were legit questions that I've had in on my mind for, I don't know, every now and then it'll pop in like, man, are we doing too much? Like, is it going to turn people off at some point in time?
You're afraid that it almost makes you look desperate. Like I need to invest all this money to gain business because I'm not relying on word of mouth. Is that what you mean?
May have been a comment that someone posted a couple of years ago. Like they're overpriced. Look at I can't even imagine how much those billboards cost. This is the deal. If anyone wants to know about those billboards, know this. Right now is the time to put them up.
Absolutely.
Okay. I've never seen so many empty billboards on 83. Now's the time to grow a set of balls and go out there and negotiate a better deal on billboards. They're not as bad as you think they are. And they're worth their weight in gold. That's that blind faith. Take that leap, put some billboards up, do more than one. Believe me, you're not going to get any traction from one unless it is in this dynamite.
It's probably not empty either then.
Location. And it's probably very expensive.
And speaking of billboards, just from my knowledge on billboards and my take on them is if you're going to do them, I would do them long term.
Yeah.
Don't keep shifting them around. And I mean, you can go other locations, but I wouldn't pick up and move them around because I see on 83, yours are pretty stable there now. But on 83, just coming down here from Harrisburg, I see there's a lot of transient billboards where I'm noticing there's a lot of new ones and some old ones they've moved, they've taken them down and they've moved out.
Right.
And some of those, I don't remember who they were because I just noticed, well, there's something else there, but it wasn't there long enough to even.
Well, you know what we've tried to create, and I know we haven't gone into our segue yet into like a year in review and stuff like that, but I'll be honest with you, what we've tried to create is landmarks. Like eventually I want someone to say, where that TC Backer sign is, make a right. You know what I mean? That's that's why we haven't moved that. Now there was a couple that we had moved to different locations or just took them down because of whatever matrix we've gotten. It's like, it's just not really worth having it there. Let's move it to another location. But we're really trying to just create landmarks, literally landmarks. You know what I mean? Mile 15 on 83, there's that TC Backer sign, that exit after the TC Backer sign, get off that exit and make a right. You know what I mean? So that just putting that out there, little things.
And I don't know what kind
cool, man.
that we've learned.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of space is available in that little section from 283 over to the airport, that little connector.
Yeah.
But I noticed you have one that's just right down there by the auto parks and all that, the car park and all that kind of stuff down there by the hotels, right there off of right in front of the airport. But if you're able to get a spot somewhere up along that little connector, that'd be a
Yeah.
That'd be a nice little spot too. There's probably some decent.
And Todd, let me ask you: is when you're having these people call their local billboard places, is that something that you should ever just call and be like, I want a billboard and just take whatever price they give you, or is that is marketing's negotiations too? Correct.
Absolutely. And think about the overhead that a billboard has. What is it costing the company once it goes up? You're paying for the art.
Yeah.
Right. You're paying for the vinyl to be made and designed. Right. And then it goes up.
Yeah.
And it sits there. Now,
hey, I got
don't get me wrong.
2 guys, 2 hours, maybe.
There are some that are illuminated at night. So there's an electric bill. Okay. But think about the overhead that a billboard has for a business owner.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty goddamn good racket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about that. You're paying for location. Really, you know what I mean, in the exposure, and it's very important, and there is a monetary value to that. Don't get me wrong, right? But everything is negotiable. Now, if things are slamming pop, where everyone's just kind of the till is turning, and they're out there just jamming money, and it's like, they can get premium prices for billboards, but right now is a good time to, if you want to get into to billboards, now is a good time, and it's like. We've talked about this before. I think it was a couple episodes ago. It's like now's the time to buy up that market space. Yeah. Right. To own.
People are backpedaling right now.
Yeah. Everyone's backpedaling right now. And it's like, no, now's the time to double, quadruple down on that market share because you're going to own it.
Absolutely.
You're going to own that market share, whether it be with your business or with your branding. Now is the time to like step up. Now, have you seen that? I know we haven't gotten to the year in review yet. This might be.
We can talk about marketing.
This might be a 2-hour episode, so y'all better go grab yourself another Red Bull. It's a short week. You can't tell me y'all ain't taking a half day fucking Friday. Okay, and probably ain't even working tomorrow. And if you are going to work, probably ain't working. Anyhow, so what was the question I just asked you?
I don't remember.
Shit, I felt like it was a good one.
Oh, you were talking about the billboards and
asked if you're seeing that.
Have you seen people backing off a little bit? And I'm not saying that because I'm going to kick the shit out of you after we get off of it. I'm just, I might, but you never know. Listen, we're kicking the shit out of everybody.
Yep.
Everybody. If you're going to stay relevant, let's not even talk about marketing and branding, right? And I'm just going to, we'll get back to what you're saying, but everything's negotiable, kids. I don't care if you're going to buy a piece of furniture at fucking Value City Furniture or wherever, anything. Okay. It's all negotiable. It really is. And it doesn't hurt to try. What's it going to hurt?
Right.
It's not going to hurt anything. And you got to be willing to walk away. That's the key to negotiation. You gotta live with it or take it or leave it. You got to take it or leave it. You know what I mean? So, and that's the whole key to negotiation.
It's always funny when you see people who want to hem haw about prices on certain things, like where they say, "Man, TC Backer's overpriced." I haven't heard that, but I'm sure that there are people that say that. But it's the same way with everything. But I mean, when you say that things you can't negotiate on, it's like the Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree, everything used to be $1. They didn't change the name of the business, but you go in there, it's really now the $1.25.
$5.99.
It's the $1.25 tree. And that's basically, they just arbitrarily slapped a 25% increase on everything that they have in the store. And you can't say, well, I've never paid that when was here before, so I'm not going to pay it now.
Yeah.
And they say, well, you're more than glad to put the merchandise back then.
Yes.
So, but nobody's going to do that.
No.
Right.
But it's just, they just pick or choose. I guess there are things that.
Yeah. So have you seen people backing off or people doubling down, or it's a 50-50 split?
The people that I'm working with are starting to more double down, because I think like I've mentioned, there are the people that want to be extremely budget conscious, but tell me, I have all these expectations. That's not where I'm spending my time. My time is going to be more on the folks who realize, and they're realistic on what's going. Now, obviously, I need to do my part and make sure we're showing results in that. But they understand that, hey, I can't do this for, I can't, pay a dime and have expectations of,
$1,000 return or something.
Return. Right.
And that's a good point that you brought up too. And I'm going to backpedal a little bit on what I said, like everything is negotiable, because I don't want to come off to sound like that cheapskate. Right. Yeah. Because I'm thinking about the services that you provide. Right. And you started to touch on it for a second. It's like, it's okay to pay a premium price for a premium service.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that because
educate yourself on the service.
We're premium because we're not. If anyone wants a quote, go ahead. We're right in the middle. We're very budget conscious. You know what I mean? Like we can fit anybody's budget. We can good, better, best, whatever. Okay. That's not why I'm saying that either, but it's like there's services that just cost money because you need a good premium product, right? And marketing is probably one of those things. Yes, you can hire or make or create your own website, right? Like, and just get it out there and start doing things. But like Google is what Google is, right? So that's probably one thing that you can't negotiate, right? If you just want to spend $500 on AdWords a month, that's what you're going to get out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for a premium product like yours, because it is premium, I'm sure I could find like a less expensive marketer, right? But I wouldn't get the results that I do with the team that comes with you. There's a reason. There's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of things that you guys do for us. And I know that comes with a price tag. And so things like that, I am willing to pay more for because the return on the investment is tenfold. So I just wanted to throw that, but I'm still going to kick the fucking guts out of you when we get off the show.
Yeah, and I want to add to that a little bit too, man. And we've touched on this a couple times. You know, it's very easy to just hop on somewhere and look at the price of something and make your judgment. Okay. Educate yourself on the product that you're buying. Number one, the people you're doing business with. Okay. If somebody's more expensive, find out why they're more expensive. Are they offering you a different class of material? Do they only mess with the best of the best? You know, do they provide something different? Do they offer something to the community with their services? You know what I mean? Look at who you're doing business with. You know, it's so easy just to go on and be like, God, I would never spend that much money on something like that. But do you even know what you're buying? You know what I mean? Like realistically. So
like when we go out for dinner, and I'm just going to use our service that we might receive from our waiter or waitress, right? I have no problem over tipping because the service was great. You know what I mean? And that I grew up in the restaurant business and I know that's not easy to cater to the public like that. So, you know, when the service is good, you know, regardless whether we're getting, you know, plumbing completed, you know, at HVAC, going out to dinner, there's a time and a place where it's like, you just don't want to cut corners. And I'm not plugging TC Backer because your roof is definitely something that you're not going to want to cut corners on. Like when you were talking about products and stuff like that, and the thickness and the warranties and who's backing the warranty up and things like that, that comes with a price tag at times. Like I feel like sometimes we have to pick and choose our battles. Right. You know what I mean? Like, what are you expecting?
Yes. There is such thing as a good customer and someone that just doesn't fit your business model.
Right. You know? Not to get too far out in the weeds here, you know what I mean? But I feel like this is a really good topic of, you know, because I wanted to backpedal too, because I kind of came off like a hard ass, like everything's negotiable. And then you started talking about dollar store. I'm like, you know what? Everything really isn't. And sometimes, like, what's the point of negotiating something when it's like, I got really let down one time. I took my vehicle to a certain shop one time, and I knew that it was going to be more expensive. I knew it, but I was willing to pay that premium price, right? And this was a personal and a professional lesson for me, right? I wanted the same exact manufacturer, parts, pieces, specs, everything back to like as if I just bought it. Took it there. I asked them to take a look at something else, why they had it. I get it back. No sooner I pull out of the parking lot, it's still doing what it was doing, right? So I popped the hood. Why I initially took it in there, but I wanted them to look at something else. I popped the hood. They half-assed what they did. And it about made me sick because I even said to myself, I could take this and I should have took it to the local guy because my service would have been so much better, right? Like when that happened to me, like I was willing to pay the premium price for the premium parts and pieces to go back on my truck, but they couldn't even clean the battery terminals off or change them or charge me more for putting new ones on. Right. So personally and professionally, that was a really good lesson for me because I don't want to be, we do not want to be that premium company, right? But give mediocre service.
Well, here's the thing too, and that's why I'm always impressed, and I hear people talk when they've seen you as well, is by doing this sort of thing. I mean, you guys are putting yourself out there. I mean, you're basically opening up the hood and letting people see what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way because, like with me, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's other people that are out there on like social media and stuff, and they're starting more and more to do videos and put themselves out there. But for instance, like when you're talking about why would somebody pay more for a service, and you just mentioned the car, I'm looking at a car now because my lease is coming up, and so I need to start to take a look. And I think I'm going to be more likely to work with somebody who puts themselves out there, who shows up or they don't just hide in the office or sit there at the desk and just wait for people to come in there. They put themselves out there and they offer up information. They try and bring some value to insights to people. Those are going to be more the people that I'm going to be trying to work with. And that's like why I try and do what I do as well. I try and go out there and put some posts out there. That way people know that I'm there. I'm not hiding in an office or hiding behind a desk and just letting nobody see me, but expecting them to trust what I'm saying without.
The whole social commerce thing is what's cool about it, and how a lot of people aren't taking advantage of it, right? Like we want them to know who we are before they even call us. Like we have a social media reputation, right? Like whether you know it or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You're the guy that doesn't have even a face, your face in your little circle picture, right? Like I got this guy that comments on everything and then starts to like message me. And eventually I was like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, who is this? Do you know what I'm saying? Are you going to be that guy? Or are you going to be that guy that has your family? You're posting your dogs. You're putting your face out there and allowing people to see who you are, who your family are, because you touched on that before. And I had a conversation with another company. I'm like, people want to know who the company is. Who is the company? Not what is the company. Like,
what makes you different?
Who is the company?
Right.
Who's the company that I'm going to be dealing with? And what do we do? I was talking to Glenn tonight. Somebody filled out an application. The first thing Glenn did without even thinking about it is went onto their social media. To see what kind of person this is. What are they posting? Stupid stuff? Or are they posting their family, their dog? They get he's already going to know who they are before they even show up. For the interview. Do you know what I mean? It's you have a social media reputation, reputation, I guess. You know, that you have.
Glenn said, I'm not afraid to show pics. Glenn, we know, baby. We know.
Yeah, we know that. We got one of you standing over here with Dr. Shingle. Dr. Shingles. Yeah, we'll have to post that next week. Year in review. That was this year, wasn't it?
Nope. That was the year before, I believe.
Well, we'll have to do.
Well, fuck it, man. There's no rules. We can post that shit from 2 years ago.
That's right. So
it's our party, bro.
That's right. No rules. That's right. Rules are made to be broken.
Nah, but it's super important. Know the product you're paying for. Know the people you're doing business with, and know what makes them different. You know, because anyone can go up and throw shingles on your roof. You know, if you're not in the position to pay a more what I'll call premium price for a company that, you know, has career opportunities available for their employees, has an internal service department, they'll come out and warrant your thing. Master elite contractors that have the backing of someone like Google or someone like GAF, that if you go out of business, you're still going to be covered. You know what I mean? If you can't, if you don't want to pay that premium price, get the brother's friend to go up and throw a roof on for a couple cases of beer over the weekend. Like it's all good.
Right. And listen, that costs money to be
absolutely
Google guaranteed.
Absolutely.
We're the homeowner. If you call us through our website or if you Google us and that phone number pops up, just so everybody knows, any homeowners, that number that pops up, that is provided by Google. So they can track if that call came through there. So if there's a claim that needs to be put in because we did something wrong, stuff happens at any given time, right? You're insured through Google up to $20,000, right? Well, that just doesn't happen, right?
No.
First and foremost, you got to have a presence on Google for a certain amount of time. Then you have to pass all kinds of basically CIA, FBI. It felt like it.
Yeah, they're not
An
going to
examination, anal examination, financial, like seriously, financial, criminal background, all kinds of things. Like they didn't do that for free. They unfortunately charged us to become Google guaranteed.
But they're not going to do that and support that and put that kind of backing financially to just a fly-by-night operation.
No.
You know, and that's the thing too. I guess to wrap that up is, I mean, if it was all about pricing and the dollars that are attached to this, we'd all be in like it'd just be a monopoly. Right? It would only be, okay, who's the lowest cost provider in everything.
They provide the exact same thing.
And that's going to be it.
Right.
But there are people who charge through who a lot of people view they are way overpriced. And there's some people who are down at the bottom, and then there's people in the middle, and they're all in business. You know, some might be in business longer than others, but they're all still there. They all still have customer base. They all still have people that are utilizing them.
Right.
So it's not just about that. It's about what else are you doing, and why would somebody be willing to pay those differences in prices for what they're getting.
Right.
And that's it. And that's just a matter of understanding that and really trying to nail that down and figure out why that is, and then build the efforts around it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, it's not always the lowest price. And I mean, that's what I tell people. I say, I don't want to be the most expensive. Sometimes I might be, but I definitely don't want to be usually the lowest price either. I just want to be competitive and be better at what we're doing.
A lot of times you
but
pay for what you get a lot of times, man. You really do. When you go to a jewelry store, I mean, you can see in the counter from 5,000 to 50,000. I mean, and there's a reason for that. Now, is there a markup on it? Yeah, jewelry is probably, and that's probably a really bad example, but jewelry is one of those things that's like
definitely a markup.
Way marked up. But when you later on find out, like you take it to a different jeweler and they're looking at it, they're like, oh my God, this is a really perfect diamond or something like that. It's like, well, yeah, I just paid 50 G's for it. I hope so.
But at the same time, Ty, you know, that might not be a bad example, okay? Because I also feel like jewelry, you know, when you have people that create the jewelry and put them in the settings and stuff, that's an artistic ability.
Of course,
you know what I mean? So, you know, there's a meme that floats around on Facebook all the time that it's like, you know, the master plumber comes out on the weekend and goes in and turns this little thing right there and fixes the boat, right? The big expensive boat.
Yeah, dude was
and he's
tapping.
like, all right, that's $10,000. And he's like, but it took you 10 minutes. And it's like, yeah, but it took me 30 years to know that I just need to come in here and turn that. You're paying me for my 30 years that I've put into this company. You know what I mean? Like that's what you're paying for right now.
Yeah.
So you also got to look at it like that too, that it's not necessarily just the service itself. You know what I mean? There's also all the things behind that service, you know, and jewelry is one of them things that it's like, you're also paying for that craftsman artistic ability that not every human being on this earth can do. You know what I mean?
Very good point. Very good point, man. That's a great meme too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Just like the one with the tattoo artist, you know, I mean, you guys are big with that. And
absolutely.
You have the one there where the guy has the drawing of what he wants on the back there, you know, it looks all nice. And then the artist is looking at that and it looks like a small child is doing it. Looks like stick figures and all this kind of thing on there. And it says you kind of get what you're going to pay for, or you know, that might be the instance of somebody not knowing what they're getting into by going to that person. So it's kind of all just rolls together.
Yeah, man. You know, I guess it's a matter of opinion and you know, what you want to pay for whatever product that you want. And a lot of times it has to do with products too. You know, and I guess as a salesperson or whatever you want to call them, you know, a consultant, you know, I guess it's finding out what the homeowner needs, right? Like what are you looking for? You plan on being here 8 years? What do you plan on? How long do you plan on being here, or whatever the case might be? You know, I guess if you're good at what you do, you can navigate that to get them the best quality product that they're looking for. And then the homeowner's got to be the homeowner also, or customer, client, whatever, however you want to put that. You know, when you're going to look for something or something that you need, versus a want or whatever. Like what, and it's funny, right? That's a whole nother subject, right? Like want, like if I want something, it doesn't matter what the price is, but if I need something at that time, that's
like
when
I need to budget this.
Yeah, right. Isn't that crazy how that works? But anyhow, being an educated customer, even for myself, like I got to do some research, a little bit, like find out different parts, pieces. Even if you get, and this is the thing, we talk about this all the time. We want you to get a couple different prices.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you should get at least 3 prices. If you're a homeowner, you need a roof, whatever, car, whatever, different. And again, a car might be just something you want and it doesn't matter what the price is. But if you needed a car at that time, it's like, that's probably when you don't have the money to afford the car. That's typically when you need the car. But when you want one, it's like, I don't give a shit. I want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get it. But educating yourself, right, on different products, figure out like what it is that you exactly need and, what your budget is. Like, that's the thing too, I guess, what can you afford? What is it that you're looking for? And that not only helps the person that's trying to sell it to you, but it also helps yourself. You know what I mean? Like, be clear with what it is that you want. And then on the other side of the coin too, when you're coming into someone's home to offer them a product, figure out what it is that they want. And sometimes that requires you to just shut up.
Yes.
And listen to what it is that they're looking for.
Find out where they hold their value at.
Yeah.
What's valuable to them. You know what I mean? It's not Jamie, you brought up a great point, man. Every homeowner has their own value system.
Yeah.
Because because Johnny homeowner at this address, maybe, he wants to make sure that he has the top of the line ice and water shield underneath there.
Yeah.
But the guy down the road, he wants that shit to pop when they drive down there. He doesn't care what's underneath it at all. He just wants it to look cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So every homeowner has their different value system. And a lot of that times requires this.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth and listen to them, figure out what's valuable to them, build a relationship with your customer.
Yeah.
And figure that out. That's your job as a salesperson. You know what I mean? That's your job.
And a lot of times,
good shit, Jamie.
They don't know what underlayment is.
Absolutely.
They don't care.
Absolutely.
They don't know. They won't
Education.
understand it. Yes.
Education.
That's where it comes in.
Yes.
To educate a homeowner and, let them know why you're doing what you're doing and what the issue was to begin with. Why did you need a new roof?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Let's investigate that first. Yeah. You know what I mean? That it looks like you got a 30-year roof on your home, but your home's only 15 years old. Okay. What happened?
Yeah.
Let's correct that issue. And this is why we're going to correct that issue. That way you can get the full life expectancy out of your roof. Poor insulation, non-ventilation, whatever the case might be, or the dryer vents, venting into your attic space, whatever. And this time of year, I always look at, especially in the morning, people's roofs with the frost on it. Like who has frost and who doesn't have frost.
I was even going to make that post the other day when it was really, really cold. I was driving through my development and I was this close. I don't know why I didn't, but I was going to be like, now's a good time to go outside and look at your roof, bud.
Yes.
Go see. You got one big spot there that's melted while everything else is.
Yeah.
Because even with that's where that's where you're losing your heat.
Poor insulation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
you guys have me looking for that now when it snows. I'm driving around looking.
Absolutely.
If I
you can
see
that,
then I'll start letting you guys know, hey, up here in this up here off these couple streets, man, you guys might want to get
take
somebody
some
over there and
pictures,
get some
pop
feet
them on there.
Yeah.
Throw a yard sign up for us, bud.
For sure. Yeah, you should. We should fill your trunk up before you leave.
Yeah, man.
You do work for us.
That's right. You know what I mean?
We're gonna get our money's worth.
I mean, I'll tell you guys, like this has been a great.
Yeah, this is a great episode.
It's
man.
a good episode.
Great episode.
And this year's been good. I mean, and it's the one of the things that I think I've seen is it's just constantly growing. I mean, you guys are, changing things. You guys are getting more involved in shows, establishing more relationships with everybody, whether it be vendors and networking with your colleagues and roofers from other areas of the country, and kind of see. I mean, you guys are establishing these relationships and these friendships with everybody, and I mean, you're doing more of that each year. So as the years go, I mean, there's always room to grow and keep changing, but the direction and the trends are what's the important thing. I think.
And relationships, man.
Yeah.
You tapped into that. That could be a whole nother episode on relationships, or like today's currency. Networking, partnerships is huge, whether it be with distribution, manufacturing, networking with, like you said, other companies that do what we do, and find out how they do what they do, when they do it, and just so you can stay relevant. You know what I mean? And our partnerships that with people that we've done work for over decades now, you know what I mean, that are still in business, and we're in business because they're in business, and both feed off of each other. You know, we're as good as they are, and they're as good as we, you know what I mean? Like we help them, they've helped us. Whether it be, you know, tech companies, we use tech companies, you know, whether it be our roofing aerial tool that we use, they've helped us just as much as we've helped them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it's those partnerships that we've developed over the years, and staying consistent, right?
Yeah.
Saying what we're going to do and doing what we're going to say has gone a long ways, man. And we started to touch on this conversation earlier, man, where it's, you know, that like what I was talking about, that 440 repair jobs that, you know, and I just pulled those numbers out of my butt, but that's realistic.
Yeah, that's absolutely realistic.
You know what I'm saying? Now you got, like, times that by 2 ones, 880 people, because you've done 440 repairs. You've developed those relationships that's turned into 440 more referrals,
right?
At least.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean,
Spreads, bro.
I'm only saying if you only got, because you might get 2 referrals from one client, you may not get any referrals from any of them, but it at least has to double over time.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe not within those first 36 months. Hell, it might require another 36 months after that, but that's staying consistent, staying true to what you're saying you're going to do, and being, you know, honest and transparent, and throwing yourself out there, and having a social media reputation.
Yeah.
Like there are some people in my office, even some of my colleagues and some people in some competitive business, they're like, man, they said, don't you worry about putting all that information out there, you know, about who you're networking with and who you're talking to and who you're working with. And I said, no, not really, because I said,
if you don't have anything to hide,
I said, it's going to benefit me. And I said, and not to mention, if they believe that, you know, someone else follows up behind me and does a better job than me, then hey, then that's learning from me.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I can't worry about that. I can only worry about what I do, what I'm bringing to the table, honing my craft, and trying to get better at what I'm doing and the results that I'm driving all the time. I cannot worry about saying, okay, well, I can't let anybody know that I'm talking to this company. It's not as though that they can't throw a Google search in there and find the people anyway. You know what I mean? So it's not just like I'm the only one who knows who these people are.
Right. Right.
So
for sure.
So, but that's one of the big things about you, though, is you guys put your relationships out there, the people you're working with, the jobs that you've done, and you don't worry about people coming up from behind you and trying to steal your lunch, because you're not going to let that happen, because you're combating that by being the best at what you're doing. And
Absolutely.
And that's the way to do it, not by trying to say, well, I can't let anybody know who we're talking to or who we're dealing with.
Bruno, what always sticks out to me, man, one of the things that I heard at RoofCon 2 years ago, there was a gentleman that was up on the stage, one of the main speakers, and he was like, look, man, I'm going to stand up here for 30 minutes and I'm going to tell you all my secrets, all my tricks, everything. Right. And he proceeded to tell us all the secrets, all the tricks. And the reason that he does that is because number one, I know that 90% of you don't have what it takes to do everything that I do. And even if you do, you're not going to outwork me. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. And that's the team that we have. That's the mindset that we have. So here, this is what we do. This is how we do it. Now it just comes down to physical ability and will. And no one has more of that than this fucking building. I guarantee that.
The consistency that we have.
No way.
Is by far, and again, that takes time. That doesn't happen
absolutely
in 12.
That's doing what you say and saying what you do, bro.
Or 36 months. Like, that takes a long time to develop that. You know, either you're in it or you're not.
Absolutely.
You know, and you got to be all in, and you have to be committed to be successful in anything. I don't care if you're a masseuse or whatever your profession is. You know, you got to be consistent and all in. You know what I mean? You can't just half-ass things, man. It's just, you can't. It's not worth it. My dad used to always say, and we used to have it on the trucks, and we should probably put it back up there again, is a job worth doing is worth doing right. Right? Like, my great-grandfather used to say that was his favorite line was, a job worth doing is worth doing right. And I added years later, the first time. Right? And that, think about that, like, dissect that. A job worth doing is worth doing right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Any job that you're doing, doesn't matter what you're doing. And that's what my dad used to say to me as a kid. I don't care what you do as long as you're good at it.
Yeah.
So I sold drugs. I did.
Boom. And that's how we end the fucking year, guys.
Yes. I did. I don't anymore. I haven't. I paid my debt to society for that. But I was one hell of and I sling shingles today.
I said I was one hell of a hustler.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I focused.
Sales is sales, dog.
A sale is a sale is a sale is a sale. You know what I mean? I always look for those pain points.
Oh my goodness.
And try to accommodate.
Hopefully my kids are not watching.
I was the host with the most. That's for damn sure. There's no doubt about it. And I attended bars. So I mean, it's the one-stop shop.
Man, slinging beers.
Yeah, it was a one-stop shop. Now,
shit.
unfortunately, I can't do that. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
I found the dark side to that.
Yeah.
And crossed over the threshold of no point of no return. There. So,
that was a zinger for the end of the show there, folks.
Anyhow.
Well, on that note, it's been a hell of a year, guys. It's been a hell of a year, man. Number one, I'm super thankful for everyone that we have in our community, everyone that we have at our company here, the team, our leader for keeping us honest and ambitious, man. Vic behind the ones and twos. This has been a great year for Behind the Toolbelt. This has been a great year for TC Backer Construction. I can't be any more happy about how this has turned out. I mean, it's going farther than I would have ever thought it would have went. And that's not just Behind the Toolbelt. That's our company. That's, family. That's everything, man. Where it's great. It's been a great year. Really looking forward to building on this momentum next year. And 157 episodes, man. 157 episodes. It's crazy. That's because of you guys back there behind the screens, watching this, sharing this, liking this, hopping on our YouTube page and subscribing. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
You got anything else that you want to say, Ty? Wrap this year up.
Yeah, man. So we've learned a lot over the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we talked about this a little bit, with supply chain issues, labor shortages, and all of those things. And I'm really looking forward to having, different pressures.
Yes.
Right. Because that seems to be a pressure that we probably aren't going to have moving forward into 2023. I'm really looking forward to the opportunities that will be presented to us as long as we continue to keep looking for them, and we keep continuously having that one more mentality, one more email, one more text message, one more phone call that I got to make, before I go home tonight, keep having that one more mentality. And I think we've all learned a lot, and I'm super grateful. This is the thing, and this is always a reminder for me every year around New Year's. It's like, oh man, we get a fresh beginning and a new start. And it's like, what, every morning I wake up, I get a fresh beginning and a new start. And every Monday is a new and fresh beginning to the weekend and stuff, and it always reminds me, because I tend to get a little disconnected from that sometimes. And it's like, I don't have to wait till 2024 for it to be a new year and a new day and a new time and a new this and a new that. It's like, every morning that I get the opportunity to wake up and put my feet on the floor is another opportunity, another day. You know what I mean? That I'm grateful to have. And I don't even want to get into the whole impact thing, but just to be able to do that on a daily basis, and know and feel the gratitude that I have to be able to just wake up every morning and get to do this all over again around the same group of people that we did it yesterday with, and the mistakes that we may have made, make them right today and learn from them things. And it just, I'm really super, I feel like 23 is going to be like,
it's going to be the best one.
It's going to be amazing. I mean, that's Michael Jordan's, number, 23 is that was my, baseball uniform through school and stuff like that. It's just, I feel like 23 is going to be a super special year. We're going to keep our eyes open. We're going to keep our head down. Right. We'll keep our nose to the grindstone. And, and if anybody ever has any questions about it, and I don't care what kind of business is business, anybody that wants to chime in here wants to, wants advice or whatever. And that's the thing that I've learned too, man. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Right.
Yeah.
You'll see me out. Sometimes I'm in a different state or a different country with a group of people. The whole point of that is because I need people around me that are smarter than me in certain areas of things that I'm not so smart in. And that's the humbling part that I've grown into over the years. The older that I get, it's like I've come to realize that I don't know everything. I expect to learn more in 23 than I have ever learned. I mean, over the past 3 years, we've learned so much, and we've talked about it. You brought up something I said 18 months ago, right? Like, think about how much more of a well-oiled machine that we're going to be after we get through this. Like, our threshold for pain has stretched. Like, we've stretched our minds to tolerate the pain that we've gone through, right? With it becoming the Amazon world that it's become. It's not here in 2 days. With the supply shortages, with the labor shortages, and all of the things that we've made it through, 2023, it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're not going to let up. And that's what's cool with that momentum that mindset we have right now. And it's not the time to backpedal or start cutting corners or anything. And that's not even what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that with that momentum of that I guess it was like a healthy, fear-driven momentum that we all had, pushing forward. Like, don't lose that. That's not the time. It's not over. This is just the beginning.
Build on that momentum.
Yeah, build on that momentum. So, I mean, not to go on to a long-winded whatever, but like, I am so super excited for the opportunities that are going to be presented to us, the momentum that we have. We haven't let up. We don't plan on letting up. We're not going to coast. I mean, January, February, March, I mean, is like the first quarter of 2023. Look out, because here we come, man. Here we come,
baby.
Yep.
We appreciate you folks, man.
And I want to say, lastly, I appreciate, I appreciate all the time seeing you guys. I always appreciate, having me on here. These are great shows. And I think we have some awesome conversations, and just being able to participate with you guys and your team and your entire crew, like with the 21 Turkey Salute. That's really good stuff. And seeing behind seeing kind of under the hood there and how you guys operate and how everybody's all bought in and having a great time with it and sees the direction and sees really what it's all about. Besides just coming in here from day to day, just going through motions, they're all in and really buying in and seeing the big picture of this stuff.
Yeah.
So being able to participate with you guys in that and have some being able to do what we do to work with you and then your other marketing resources to help drive some of that thing and help you get to where it is that you're trying to get to as we kind of move through these years. I appreciate that. And I always have a great time with you guys. So thanks a lot.
Super fun. Thank you.
Excellent. Everyone enjoy your holidays, man. That's a wrap for 2022. That's a wrap for episode 157, man. We will see you guys next year. Everyone have a safe holiday. We appreciate you guys like a lot for sticking through us this entire year, the past 3 years, all of our loyal followers. Make sure you guys hop on the Facebook page, give it a like, give it a share. If you have not done so already, hop on the YouTube channel, subscribe to that. That's Behind the Toolbelt. And we will catch everyone next year for episode 158 next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Everyone have a good time.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yep. Happy New Year.